The actual meaning of the word producer is pretty vague. A producer can either mean someone who sits in the bedroom and makes beats on the computer, or it can mean someone who is managing an entire album production for Adele. Today I'm going to talk about what the second one means. If all a person is doing is managing a studio session and mixing and mastering and recording your songs, that's not a producer. A producer's job is to provide insight and guidance on an existing song to see how it can be improved. This could be how it is arranged instrumentally, the actual structure of the song, the way the song is written, the sounds that are going into the song, anything like that. In short, a producer's job is to help artists make their own songs better in a way that the artist wouldn't be able to do on their own. For however long a producer is hired for, they effectively become a new member of the band. When you hire an engineer, you are in charge of everything that engineer does. You can say, I want this compressor on this track for this reason, and because you are paying the engineer to simply do a job, that is all that they'll do. But a producer will become part of the democracy of the band and offer outside objective opinions on how the entire session can be improved. Their opinion, for reasons that I will go into later, is likely more informed and more educated than yours is, because to get to where they are, they have to know all this shit. In major label situations, a producer will be hired by a major label to effectively put the major label's vision of an artist into reality. A producer will be given an artist and given a brief as to how the major label want that artist to come across, and it will be the producer's job to make that happen. It's also part of a major label producer's job to find session musicians and employ them into the production process so that they can get the sound that they want. So for instance, as far as I know, Beyonce isn't a very good guitarist, so if Beyonce's producer needs a guitar on her new album, he will have to go out and find a session player who fits the criteria and can play the guitar in the way that the producer sees necessary to create the sound that he wants.
And generally he will write that part as well for the guitarist. It's
not just a he, you can have female producers as well.
You can. I know of zero. I know of absolutely none, but yeah.
I do know of female producers who make electronic music, but that's not the kind of producer that we're talking about, as I mentioned earlier. So.
Beatmaker?
Yes.
Yeah, we should really
have a new word for that.
We have, it's called beatmaker.
It's not. That's not the real word.
A beat boy.
Beat boy.
With an I on the end. So it can be gender neutral.
But producers aren't just limited to major label roles. Anyone can hire a producer. If you know a producer and you happen to be going to the studio next week, you can hire them to come along. So the way that would work is a band would say to this producer, okay, we want to sound like this. We want to have this come across with our music, and it will then be the producer's job to help them achieve that. Because this producer is providing something of an expert opinion in this process, they will likely be able to help this band improve upon what they've already got. A lot of engineers tend to call themselves producers because it is easier for them to market to people who don't actually know what a producer is. So how do you actually differentiate between a producer and an engineer when you're coming to hire one? Well, not only will they be an expert in the studio, not only will they be a great studio engineer, they will also be very knowledgeable musically. They will probably be a multi-instrumentalist, and if they don't know how to play a certain instrument, then they will know the logistics behind playing that certain instrument. E.g., they will know that you can slide between two notes on a trombone but not on a piano. They will know exactly which instruments are needed for the job that they're doing and what instruments can provide the right thing for the job that they're doing.
So that's saying as well, in most contexts, especially the major label contexts, you will have a producer and an engineer, not one or the other.
Yeah. This more happens with independent studios and stuff, but sometimes the engineer will double as a producer if they can do the job. But in major label situations or situations where there's a lot of money involved, a producer will tend to sit at the back of the room and just basically tell the engineer what to do. The producer will have the vision and decide what needs to happen, and they will just tell the engineer to do that. The engineer will be the producer's hands.
Yeah, it's the same reason why a director generally doesn't hold the camera when they're filming stuff, because they need to be thinking about the reasons behind it, not actually turning the knobs.
Yes. When most artists start creating their own music, when they start recording, you are actually producing yourself. You're choosing your own sounds, you're choosing your own instruments, you are deciding on the direction that your songs need to go. That is the job of a producer, and if you're doing that, then you are producing yourself. It can be quite a daunting task to think about starting to work with an actual producer, and that is because when you start working with a producer, you are essentially bringing in an outside party who might not know anything about you as a band or as people. It's very hard to stop being overprotective of your music. You've made your music, so it's your baby, so you want to be the one to dress it up and send it to school. But when you give the job to a producer, they are also helping you do that, and that, I think, is what's daunting for bands to start working with a producer. It's likely that the producer will come in and know more about the way your song works than you do. You will probably have written a song and you'll have written it because you like the way it flows, but a producer will know all the intricacies and how the song fits together and why it works or why it doesn't work, and will be there to help you improve it. They can provide you with something that you can never give your own music, and that is an objective opinion. It is very hard to be objective about your own music and say, that riff that I just wrote 10 minutes ago and was really happy playing is shit. A producer will come in and maybe tell you that.
A good producer will tell you that. A bad producer will pussyfoot around it.
Yeah, there can be a lot of producers that will come in and just tell you what you want to hear and not really add anything to the session, not help you improve upon your music. Music is improved upon by getting criticism, and if your producer isn't giving you any criticism, either you are the absolute perfect artist, which probably isn't the case, or they are just lazy.
Or being just a yes man to get your money.
Yes. A good producer will come in and tell you, that hook that you've got at the end of your verse is better than your chorus. We are going to drop your chorus because it is shit, and we are going to make that hook the focus of the song because it is the best part of the song. What makes an objectively commercially good song good is whether it's catchy or not. And it is a producer's job, especially in major label situations, to create that or to improve upon that. So when you're looking to employ the services of a so-called producer, make sure that they are actually a producer. Make sure that you are ready to take the risk to start working with a producer, and don't be so protective of your children. Let someone else give an opinion as to what they should wear for once. If you want to see more videos from this series, click over there, and if you want to see our best of playlist, click over there. Apparently, Lenny tells me we just passed 16,000 subscribers a few weeks ago, and we made absolutely no mention of it whatsoever, so thanks. That's pretty good. Yeah, nice, not doing bad.